Your message doesn't go where you think. You type a message, you hit send, and somewhere, maybe across the street, maybe across an ocean, someone's phone lights up. It feels instant, it feels simple, like you just spoke. But here's what nobody tells you. That message didn't travel in a straight line. It didn't go directly to them. It didn't even go where you'd expect. It went on a journey, through layers of infrastructure you'd never seen, past systems you've never heard of, through hands you never agreed on to. And the wild part, every single time you press send, the same invisible chain reaction fires off, in milliseconds, without you knowing any of it. Let's follow where it actually goes. The moment you hit send, your message doesn't just float into the air toward the other person. First, it gets broken up. Whatever you wrote, one sentence, a paragraph, a voice note, gets sliced into tiny chunks called packets. Each packet gets labeled, where it came from, where it's going, what order it belongs in. Then those packets get handed to your Wi-Fi chip, which converts them into radio waves, invisible pulses firing at 2.4 or 5 gigahertz, and broadcast them into the room. Your router catches them, and now the real journey begins. Here's the first thing that surprises people. Your router doesn't know your friend's phone. It doesn't know their name. It doesn't have a direct line to them. All it has is a door. One door to the outside world, your ISP connection. So it takes your packets, stamps it in its own public IP address on them like a return label, and pushes them out that door. Where they go from here is completely out of your hands. You've seen the diagrams, that fluffy cloud shape, labeled the internet. Forget it, that's a law of convenience. The internet is physical, it's cables, some buried on the roads, some are running along the ocean floor for thousands of kilometers. It's massive buildings full of routers, switches and servers running around the clock. Your packets don't float, they race through fiber optic cables as pulses of light, literally photons bouncing through glass, traveling at a significant fraction of the speed of light. And they don't take one path. Different packets from the same message might take completely different routes, one through Frankfurt, one through London, and reassemble at the destination like nothing happened. Step 4, they land on a server, someone else's server. Here's where it gets interesting. Your message didn't go to your friend's phone. Not yet. It went to a server owned by WhatsApp, or iMessage, or Telegram, or whoever made the app you're using. A data center somewhere in the world that acts as a middleman for every single message sent through that platform. Your message lands there first, gets logged, gets processed, gets held, and then only then does it get forwarded to your friend's device, which means every message you've ever sent has passed through someone else's infrastructure, someone else's computer, before it ever reached the person you were talking to. That's not criticism, that's just what the architecture looks like. This is the question everybody should be asking. The answer depends on the app. Most modern messaging apps use something called end-to-end encryption, which means your message gets scrambled on your device before it even leaves. The server that receives it, even the company that owns it, sees nothing but noise, unreadable gibberish. Only the other person's device has the key to unscramble it. It's like sending a locked box through this postal system. The postman carries it, handles it, moves it across the country, but they can never open it. The only person with the key is the one you send it to. WhatsApp does this. Signal does this. Arguably better. iMessage does this. SMS doesn't. Regular SMS travels in near plain text. It's been that way since the 80s. So when people say just text me, they mean the least secure option available, every time. The server has your message. Your friend's phone needs to receive it. But how does the server know their phone is even on? How does it know where to send it? This is where push notifications come in. A permanent low-power background connection your phone maintains with Apple's or Google's server at all times. A quiet invisible line. that stays open just so the internet can tap you on the shoulder when something arrives. The messaging server calls Apple or Google. Apple or Google finds the thread to your friend's device. The notification wakes the app. The app pulls the message. The screen lights up. That entire chain, server to push, service to device to screen, happens in under a second, usually far less. And your friend thinks you just sent them a message. So you press send. Your message was sliced into packets, converted to radio waves, caught by a router, stamped with an address, fired through fiber optic cables and pulses of light, landed on a server in another country, held there, encrypted so no one could read it, pushed through Apple or Google's infrastructure, pulled by an app running in the background, and finally rendered on a screen. All of that in the time it takes to blink. That message didn't just travel, it crossed an invisible world. One that's been built piece by piece over the last 50 years. Just two people can feel like they're in the same room. Next time you see those two gray ticks turn blue, you'll know exactly what just happened. If you watch the Wi-Fi video, you already know step 1. This is what comes after. Subscribe if you want to keep following the signal.